Hello guys, welcome to Sync in English. So last class we discussed about parts of the brain and how those areas would function. Okay, so now we will try to see neurotransmitters. What are the different types of neurotransmitters and their role in our body? Especially when nerve impulse is conducted, these neurotransmitters would be released. I explained this in part 4, in which we talked about neuronal connections and neuron structure of neuron and function of neuron and different types of synapses. So when we talk about neurotransmitters, we are talking about chemical synapses. So within the synapse, these chemicals, vesicles. So vesicles which contains synaptic vesicles would contain these neurotransmitters would be released at the synaptic knob, at the synaptic cleft, and the receptors would be accepting these neurotransmitters. So let's see what are the different types of neurotransmitters and their roles. So let's get started. So I'm sharing the screen. So here, if you see, we talked about different parts of the brain. So now we are talking about neuronal connections, synapses. So here, if you see clearly, these synaptic knobs are connected, or they are very much near to the postsynaptic neuron. This is presynaptic and this is postsynaptic neuron. And if you see here clearly, these vesicles containing these neurotransmitters would be releasing into this. So here you can see mitochondria also. So because this is energy requiring process, so these synaptic vesicles would contain neurotransmitters would be released into the synaptic cleft. And these receptors which are there in the postsynaptic neuron, it means this neuron, if you consider this neuron as A, blue one, and this one is B, from A to B, the nerve impulse would be conducted through this axon. So, let's imagine this is a neuron and this is one neuron. So at the synaptic cleft, they are joined, they touch each other, right? So, and the nerve impulse would be conducted there. For example, if I connect this to phone, right? So the signals would be transmitted from this red one to the black one, so that I can speak from this mic. So in the similar way, the electric impulse would be conducted from the cell body. You can see here, from the cell body to the axon, this red color. So throughout this red color, electric transmission takes place. I explained this in previous videos, how electric transmission would be taking place. And then it comes to the synaptic cleft, and then it will be releasing this vesicles which contain the neurotransmitters. So let's see what are the different neurotransmitters for that matter. So we have different types of neurotransmitters. For example, if you take dopamine, DA. So dopamine is primarily involved in processing smooth and coordinated gross motor movements. So smooth and gross movements are under control of dopamine. And dopamine release in the nucleus linked to addictive drug, sex, and attention grabbing experiences in general, including video game playing. So this dopamine release is actually connected to the certain drugs and sex, addictive drugs and sex and attention grabbing experiences in general. So when we do certain attention grabbing exercises or some experiences, these dopamine would be releasing in general, and even including video game playing. So when we are playing video game, right, so it needs a lot of attention. So at that point of time, this dopamine would be released. So that's why when the dopamine is releasing, they are becoming more addictive when video games are playing, right? Or mobile addiction linked to the biochemistry or chemistry of the brain. And next we have, norepinephrine. One minute. Yeah. So next we have norepinephrine. Norepinephrine is function is to govern synaptic sympathetic arousal by activating the heart and blood vessels, thus giving rise to fight or flight responses or syndrome. So these norepinephrine is it functions or it is responsible for the this flight or fight syndrome, and response in excitatory actions. So this involved in excitatory actions. So it is also released in the brain to enhance attention and memory for emotionally charged events. So norepinephrine is releasing, responsible or it enhances the attention and memory for emotionally charged. So certain marriages or certain deaths, certain events which has this emotionally charged would be taken care, or at that point of time this norepinephrine is released. So next one is serotonin. So what exactly the role of serotonin? So serotonin plays a role in the regulation of mood, control of eating, sleep, arousal, and the regulation of pain, and even controls dreaming. So serotonin has these many effects. So when the serotonin is not produced in a proper levels, these all functions will be scattered, or it won't be functioning properly. Next one is Gaba. So we have one more neurotransmitter called Gaba. So what Gaba does? Gaba. So Gaba is nothing but gamma aminobutyric acid, which actually inhibits the firing of neurons. So once the GABA is produced, the firing of neurons would be inhibited. So it exactly needs like a switch to neurotransmitters to say that stop producing enough neurotransmitters. So it acts as an abundant inhibitor neurotransmitter in the brain, and it is associated with the calming effects. So because nerve impulses are not produced when the GABA is released, so that the GABA, during GABA release, we actually produce calming effects. If at all the GABA is absent, there would be tremors, seizures, epilepsy, anxiety, etc. would be released. So see how brain chemistry is actually even have an effect on the behavior also. That's what I find this unit as very interesting, where you can see that these neurotransmitters failure, the biochemistry of the brain is also depicted in the form of behavior. So the anxiety is coming from seizures, or coming from epilepsy is coming from the less production or zero production of an absence of GABA. And we have one more, I'm not discussing every neurotransmitter here. I'm discussing very important neurotransmitters, so you can get benefit of without wasting much time. So these neurotransmitters questions can be asked as function. So they may be giving incorrect or correct functions, or they will ask to choose the function of the GABA. So they'll confuse with certain options. So we should be able to handle those incorrect statements, and we have to pick the correct statement. So let's see the next one, acetylcholine. So ACH, we say in short form, causes contraction of skeletal muscles. So if this acetylcholine is absent or producing in a negligible amount, so the motor functions or a skeletal muscle contraction of skeletal muscles would be hampered. And even this acetylcholine helps to regulate the heart muscles, promote arousal in the brain, and transmits messages between brain and spinal cord. So these functions are very important. And when acetylcholine is producing low amounts, then what happens is attention would be low, and depletion would release Alzheimer's disease. So Alzheimer's disease is connected with the acetylcholine, and we have Huntington disease is connected with GABA. When the GABA is not produced, so Huntington disease will be, we can see that type of a disease. So these are very much important neuromodulators, like few peptides would act. See, peptide meaning here you need to understand dipeptide, tripeptide, polypeptide. These are all, for example, let's assume this is one amino acid and this is one amino acid. Proteins are made up of peptides, or nothing but proteins, and proteins are made up of amino acids. So amino acids are building blocks. So we have one amino acid and other amino acid which are connected, and now we call it as dipeptide. This is one amino acid, this is dipeptide. And like that, polypeptide means many monomers will be forming a single polypeptide. So these dozens, there are different types of polypeptides, or there peptides which acts as a neuromodulators, which release small groups of brain neurons. So they can alter the hunger, thirst, and even long-lasting behaviors are under control of this peptides which are nothing but neurotransmitters. So this is about, and last but not least, let's see about glutamate. So glutamate and aspartate, these are all amino acids which actually stimulate, helps in stimulate receptors associated with learning and memory. So these are the neurotransmitters that we have seen. One is dopamine, norepinephrine, serotonin, Gaba, acetylcholine, glutamate, and aspartate. And even we have seen what few peptides would do to the brain and how the behavior is altered. So behavior is something which I am right now without being anxious. If I'm sitting here means there are neurotransmitters playing a role in it as well. So you may get one question that, sir, then Vamsy, then it means that what is the role of psychology if everything is chemical? Yes. So this is a question we will be answering in coming classes. Okay, how this brain chemistry shapes the behavior and how behavioral therapy can actually change this neurotransmitters levels also, that we will be discussing. I hope you enjoyed this video, and definitely share to your friends. And it would be very helpful for preparation for UGC NET. And if you have any doubts, please put in the comment section, or if you have any topics that you wanted to learn, I will teach those topics. Keep it in the comment section. Hope you enjoyed. Thank you.